Moving on to item number 6, discussion possible action regarding approval of the request from Oklahoma Turnpike Authority to issue up to $1.9 billion second senior revenue bonds, Series 2026, and up to $1 billion refunding second series revenue bonds 2020, Series 2026. Alex.
Thank you. The Oklahoma Turnpike Authority is seeking approval here today to issue bonds to finance the next phase of the Access Oklahoma program. And if market conditions are favorable, to refund certain outstanding maturities to achieve debt service savings across 5 different series. As you can see on page 176 of your meeting packet, the request is for $1.9 billion in new money bond proceeds. And this would primarily be used to fund a $1.5 billion deposit to the construction fund for various access program projects. The remaining proceeds would be used to fund capitalized interest, a deposit to the debt service reserve, and cost of issuance of the transaction. The refunding of outstanding maturities across 5 series based on market conditions in May is projected to generate over $32 million of net present value savings, which represents 5.2% of refunded par, and you can see that broken out by series on page 178. The financing team will continue to monitor the refunding opportunities alongside market conditions, and this portion of the transaction will only proceed if the aggregate savings exceeds that 3% threshold that we talk about when we see applications for refundings. I'd like to circle back on the new money portion of the application here for a moment and make note of the fact that this application is programmatic in nature. Like those submitted to the Council by the Water Resources Board for their SRF programs or their state loan program, or by the Oklahoma Housing Finance Agency for its single-family mortgage revenue bond program. And the distinction here, in my mind, is important in comparison to project-specific applications considered by the Council from the likes of the Oklahoma Capital Improvement Authority for capital renovation bond projects with the First Americans Museum, or project-specific applications like the 3 approved today for multifamily housing transactions. With project-specific financing, the spend down of bond proceeds is tied, as we talked about before, is tied directly to a specific project. And with programmatic financing, bond proceeds are deployed across multiple projects over a series of years as construction schedules allow and change and needs adjust. And we see that, with the Water Resources Board and the way that they deploy their funds, their recapitalization funds, to make loans for the state loan program, for example. Federal tax requirements acknowledge this by focusing on an issuer's what we call reasonable expectation regarding the spend down of bond proceeds over time, with really a 3-year time horizon on that. The Access Oklahoma program, as is outlined in your materials, is an $8.2 billion program, and about $6.8 billion of that remains to be funded through the issuance of additional revenue bonds. $3.4 billion of that includes projects outside of the East-West Connector. But as a reminder, the request here is for a deposit, an amount sufficient to make a deposit of no more than $1.5 billion to the construction fund. OTA has represented that the expenditure of bond proceeds will be directed across access program projects, and the modularity of the program allows for that to happen. So in the event that certain construction equipment is not available, the funds can be deployed, the bond proceeds can be deployed to other projects as is necessary. That is what is happening right now across the access program. As Council's aware, litigation has been filed in federal court challenging certain federal permitting decisions related to the East-West Connector. As of today, OTA continues to hold permits for that project and is proceeding with construction under those permits. However, should a court issue an order prohibiting further construction on the East-West Connector or grant any requested injunctive relief, as outlined in the motion, OTA will be forced to comply. Should a court dismiss certain requests for relief that allow for the issuance of bonds by OTA while granting relief in other matters related to the East-West Connector, the programmatic nature of the bond issue and of this application would simply result in the expenditure of bond proceeds on other projects across the access program. I will note that the current litigation does not challenge OTA's statutory authority to issue revenue bonds or the Access Oklahoma program as a whole. That authority was upheld and that determination was made by the Oklahoma Supreme Court back in the validation proceedings that culminated in 2023. As outlined in your meeting materials, the OTA board authorized the issuance of the bonds and an application to the Council of Bond Oversight at the meeting on June 2nd. Your meeting materials also include information on the team competitively selected by OTA, as well as projected operating results, which show debt service coverage. Those can be found on page 174. I have covered quite a bit of ground here. Happy to answer any questions, direct questions to representatives of OTA and the financing team, should you have questions for them. I would like to highlight 12 conditions of approval, recommended conditions associated with this application should you wish to move approval. These begin on page 129, and include conditions commensurate with a public offering of municipal bonds, the receipt of a preliminary official statement, final official statement, executed bond purchase agreement, and the various opinions from all of the attorneys that are required as part of the transaction, delineated in the bond purchase agreement and required to close. There are also conditions recommended that seek to increase transparency on the transaction, my involvement in any and all rating agency meetings being one of them. OTA represented to me that they have shared all of the litigation with all of the rating analysts, and there are no questions or concerns at this time, but happy to answer any questions that you have.
Alex, thank you. We are lucky as citizens of the state of Oklahoma having you in treasury because you are so really good, you're smart, and you dumb down this for an average person like me to understand.
I can keep going.
No. I think that's all we have. Thank you very much for that. Any discussion? I would like to hear from you if they have anything to say.
So, appreciate council considering the application. Mr. Treasurer, thank you, Ms. Edwards, for explaining lots of things, probably better than I could have, and you covered some of the things that I was going to mention today. So I thought maybe I would skip to the portion where I just explain the 15-year long-range plan, that this is it's not OTA's biggest program. It is by dollar figure, but we talked earlier about inflation, and inflation has caused the buying power in highway projects to erode, and so that's made things much more expensive. The long-range plan was announced now 4.5 years ago. So we're well into a 15-year program. The first portions of that program are all around design, right-of-way acquisition, permit application, and preparation for construction. In recent times, we've got a lot of projects that have gone to construction, and we start or end all of our meetings with a safety message, and heard discussion earlier around schools getting back in the classroom, so everybody needs to pay attention around school zones. It's also the end of summer, and we are wrapping up lots of normal capital improvement plan projects. So we have a number of construction projects throughout our network. ODOT across the highway network has lots of construction projects. And it's one of the most significant things that we take real serious. We want them to go quickly, smoothly, get wrapped up and get the cones out of the way, because it is one of the more dangerous places that the traveling public commutes. And most of us during the summertime drive through a construction zone at one point or another. So not inclusive of our current capital improvement plan projects, I thought I would cover just some of the active construction and the status of some of those, maybe projects that you've driven through recently, and then I'd be happy to try to answer any questions about these. Also have Jordan Purdue here with us, who will be best to answer any of the financing questions about this bond deal. So today, we're nearing about $840 million in spend across engineering, right-of-way acquisition, construction, that's inclusive of utility relocation on the access program. And we've got about $680 million additional dollars under contract as of today. We have a board meeting coming up this next Tuesday, where we hope to award several more construction projects. Inclusive of that, there are about 15 contracts just to be awarded by the end of this year. That'll total another $375 million. And all of this information is available publicly on accessoklahoma.com on our website. And we're routinely and just about daily updating that website. So a couple of projects, and these are in no particular order, but we've got a project on State Highway 364, which most people would know as the Creek Turnpike. It's over Hayden Creek. It's a $62 million job. It's nearing 50% complete and should finish next summer. We've got a pavement replacement project on State Highway 364, 351, the Muskogee Turnpike, near Coweta. It's $35 million and it's 80% complete, should finish in the next couple of months. We've got I-44, the Turner Bridge widening west of Wellston. It's just a really short construction project, but just $3 million, but it's 90% complete. The bridge is actually done. They're finishing up some of the ancillary work, and that'll finish just here in the next few weeks. I have on my notes to say summer, though, this year to always provide some leeway for some unexpected weather. We have new interchanges that are being built. One of those on the Indian Nation Turnpike, which is State Highway 375 near Indianola. That was a partial interchange. And since we've gone cashless, we're able to finish some of those things out. And it's a $5 million project that started a couple months ago. That's 15% complete and should finish in the spring of this next year. We've got I-344, Interstate 344. Most folks know that as the John Kilpatrick Turnpike, the Paycom. I call this the Paycom interchange. It's at Council Road. It's a $12 million project, nearing halfway complete by dollar anyway, and will finish the summer of next year. We've got the Toby Keith Expressway. That's a $19 million project. It's some bridges over 10-mile flats. That's 40% complete already and should complete next spring. We've got another Toby Keith Expressway project over the South Canadian River. It's going to be for at least a short amount of time Oklahoma's longest bridge. It's a $97 million project, 30% complete, and we've already hung all the beams that need to be put over the river. So that's really important and should finish in total completion of the project April of 2020. I said April, but spring, summer of 2028. The goal is to have at least one set of the bridges complete so that we can put head-to-head traffic on it and be done sometime late in 2027, early 2028 to get traffic moving across that critical location. Another project that is ongoing in that area is we partnered with the city of Moore to replace, they had an effluent line that came out of their water treatment plant, sewage treatment plant. We're replacing that line as part of the project. It was antiquated and old, and should be complete in the summer of 2027. It's $23 million. We've got Interstate 344 again on the John Kilpatrick. We've got a widening project going on the west side over by Britton Road is north of Wilshire is that location. It's a $23 million project. It's over a quarter of the way complete. Should finish next summer. And I know this is an expansive list, and I'm about halfway, so I'll go as quickly as I can. We've got Interstate 44 over the over Lake Arcadia on the Turner Turnpike. That's on the far west end. If you've driven to Tulsa or back and forth from Tulsa, you'll remember and recognize that one. It's $22 million. It's 15% complete and intended to be finished in 6-lane for about a mile there in the summer of next year. We've got another project on the Indian Nation Turnpike that has begun. It's at Blanco, so that's south of McAllister, north of Daisy, in an area that doesn't have good access. It's a $9 million project, just started a couple months ago. It's 10% complete, intended to be done next spring. We've got Interstate 44, on the Turner Turnpike. It's east of Bristow. This is a $100 million project that's already complete. That 6-lane section opened last fall, but it was funded through the bond program. So I wanted to mention it and a couple of others that are complete. Interstate 44 at the Stroud Service Plaza right there in Stroud. We widened about a mile, realigned and straightened out the interstate. A $25 million project, partnered with McDonald's and Love's, and that is complete. Interstate 344, the John Kilpatrick Turnpike widening from Eastern over I-35, a $15 million project that's complete. We finished a pretty cool project on Interstate 44 at Wellston. If you drive to Tulsa or back and forth, you ought to check it out. You got to get off the turnpike to see some of the artwork that we partnered with Oklahoma Arts Council and ODOT with, but put a pretty cool push pin in at Wellston as a $50 million project, and that project is also complete. Cut a ribbon on it in April. Another Toby Keith Expressway project, Interstate 44, the interchange with I-44, $75 million that's been awarded and is planned to start very soon. Interstate 44 on H.E. Bailey, we've got pavement replacement south of Lawton. If you've ever driven all the way down there, there's a section of pavement over some expansive clays that undulates pretty bad. Traffic volumes are relatively low, but a $57 million project where we're going to replace that pavement that served us a really long time, and it should begin sometime this summer. We've got Interstate 44 and interchange at State Highway 18 in Chandler. We took bids on it a couple weeks ago, $30 million project that we intend and hope to award next week. We've got Interstate 344, the John Kilpatrick Turnpike at 15th Street, a $15 million or $13 million project that we haven't bid out yet, but soon will. Toby Keith Expressway, the west of I-35, it's a $120 million project that is intended to let here in the next few months. Toby Keith Expressway at I-35, the actual interchange is currently estimated at around $700 million. We're intending to let the very first phase of that in January of this coming year, so just in a few months. We've got Interstate 44 on the Will Rogers Turnpike, a widening that's south of Verdigris, south of the navigation channel. It's a $48 million project that we hope to award very soon. Interstate 344, the John Kilpatrick Turnpike, it's the county line, the new interchange that will better serve Piedmont and make it much easier to get traffic on and off in that Paycom area that's had significant growth in the last decade. This will add a new interchange, new on and off ramps, and another turnaround location for traffic. Partnered again on that project with the City of Oklahoma City. $55 million, and we hope to award it also very soon. So in total, in the next year, we have about $1 billion in construction project that should be let to bid. That's inclusive of some of the projects I mentioned, of 30 projects in total on I-44, Turner Turnpike, on I-44, the Will Rogers Turnpike, two significant corridors that we need to get started on, get going on the widening on the Will Rogers, and we need to work hard to finish the current Interstate 344, the Kilpatrick, multiple more projects, the Toby Keith Expressway, and State Highway 364, the Muskogee Turnpike. Multiple more projects to come just in the next little bit. So to comment to Ms. Edwards' modularity comment earlier, we have lots of projects to do, and our plan is to come and get in the bond market every 18 to 24 months, depending on the spend down rate and available funds. So that's kind of the program in a snapshot of time, which is based around today. We have a lot of things going, but I'd be happy to answer any questions. And we brought several members of the team here today to be able to answer anything that the council might have for us.
You guys are busy.
We're very busy. Our construction director, our chief engineer, I know is here. LaDan Nelson, that's in charge of the access program, is also here. Members of our group, and we've had the staff up just a little bit, and we've been able to work in partnership with ODOT. We routinely, I worked at ODOT for 15 years on the construction side and project planning, and we've been very fortunate to coordinate with them, do a little horse trading on some employees when projects like this come up, and we've got some really good ones from them.
Well, thank you very much. Any further discussion? As no further discussion, do I have a motion for approval?
Can I ask one question?
Absolutely.
So I'd like to just ask this for the crowd. Alex, there's 12 conditions that this is subject to. This is for the program, not for specific projects. If the guests that are here with the Pike Off group or that project, for their information, if the courts, depending on if they rule to delay, modify, or stop that, is that one of the things that this is subject to for that project?
Yeah, the conditions include, condition number 10 is, while I would say, and John can clarify this if you'd like, an order by a federal court carries the day in this matter without question in my mind. And a decision in a federal court and any order provided will dictate the direction of this project and the bond issue. Condition number 10 says receipt of a representation from the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority that it will comply with any preliminary, temporary, or final order issued by a federal judge in Pike Off OTA Inc., the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority, with the case number, which includes any preliminary, temporary, or final order issued upon appeal thereof. And that condition seeks to capture the litigation that is before federal court.
That language, it brings us to the conclusion if there was any kind of appeal or along those lines. So the court would rule on that factors.
And irrespective of any potential ruling, the Turnpike Authority could use these funds for a totally different project separate from that project.
In the event that the request for an injunction related to the issuance of the bonds is dismissed. Yes.
Any further discussion?
We have to make a separate motion on the refunding or
Great question. Do we have to do two different motions?
No, submitted as one application.
It's just one agenda item.
Do I have a motion?
I move to accept the proposal subject to the 12 conditions of approval.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Treasurer Russ?
Aye.
Mr. Whitworth?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor? Yes. Chairman Beverly?
Yes, motion passes.